Welcome to Hindsight is Horrifying, the podcast where two and sometimes three seemingly normal adults discuss the movies and TV shows that our parents let us watch and which explains why we're only seemingly normal.
True story.
I am Jason Mitchell. I'm here with my co-host, Darth Jader.
Hey, listeners, hey.
And tonight we are looking back at a 1995 adaptation or retelling of the classic Jane Austen novel, Emma. And of course, I'm speaking of the movie Clueless, which, for the record, was not my pick. Just want to get that out there.
It was our special recurring guest pick, actually. We have our first recurring guest ever, listeners.
Our first regurgitating
guest, yes. And she's regurgitating right now. That's why you can't hear her. She's in the bathroom. But yeah.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about Clueless for the, three people.
Clueless about Clueless?
But you know what? I was about to say for the, three people who haven't seen the movie. But I will guarantee you that there are actually a lot of people out there who are, that word, younger.
Yeah, these days, a 1995 movie isn't a guarantee.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's completely possible that there's a lot of people who don't know the movie. So why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Yes, so as Jason said, it is kind of a loose interpretation of Jane Austen's Emma, but really it's about a young Valley Queen. Her name is Cher, aka Alicia Silverstone, who stars in the movie, and all of her friends in high school. And Cher's whole thing is that she's finding love and sort of discovering who she is as a person in this movie, but that actually makes the movie sound a lot more serious than it is because this movie is hysterical.
And she has a friend who wears a garbage can on her head.
Dion. I've been shopping with Dr. Seuss. Hello. At least I didn't skin a collie to make my backpack. So, it's Cher and Dion who are best friends. And the quote about their names is hilarious because Cher says, Dion and I are best friends because we know what it's like for people to be jealous of us. And we were named after famous singers of the past who now do infomercials. So that's just a big slam on Celine Dion and Cher right there in 1995.
Yeah, I want to go back and look at whatever infomercial Cher was doing.
Yeah, I really have no idea what that would be. I don't remember it. But before we get into all of that, let's reintroduce our very special and first recurring guest, Katie from The Mummy.
Hello, listeners. Thank you guys for having me back.
Yes, welcome back, Katie. So
welcome back.
Yes. So why don't you tell us, Katie, a little bit why, because as you know, listeners, our guests get to pick the content of their episode when they hang out with Jason and Darth.
It's like the world's worst contest.
Oh, God. And we still haven't heard from you Australians, so why don't you pick something and be a guest star on the phone already? But Katie is our recurring guest, so maybe she can tell us a little bit why she chose this movie in the first place. Katie.
So this movie, very much like The Mummy, I grew up watching, loved it. I remember watching it when I was in middle school. Rewatching it now as an adult, totally didn't get half of the stuff at that age.
Oh, big time.
I'm listening and I'm just looking at everything going on right now. I didn't know what's going on. This girl's got a Biore strip on her nose. I had no idea what that was. Later, you find out you don't
I
actually.
Thought she had a broken nose. I didn't realize it was.
It could be a broken nose. It is
thought she had a
Hills.
nose job.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's. Oh my God.
It looks like
that's
a
what I
okay.
thought it was.
See, we're peeling the onion even as adults, so we don't know.
And she has this intense oral fixation. She has to touch her mouth or be feeding it's bad.
Oh yeah,
nobody
Cher's
ever
constantly
does this.
playing with her gum and but yeah, she has this fantastic opening scene with this actress whose name I cannot remember, who's in Night at the Roxbury. She plays a hooker with Will Ferrell and Chris.
We had our first whatever.
What's his face from Saturday Night Live?
Carry on.
Anyway, Cher, they kind of open at her school where after she's picked her outfit for school on her computer, and see just how lavish and crazy her lifestyle is. Cher's in debate class with Wallace Shawn, who is her. I think they called them professors back then because they actually had professors in high school, but that changed rapidly.
I never called anyone.
It says Mr. Hall on his little name tag.
Maybe I think Katie and I got lied to in middle school because remember when they were talking to us about writing papers and we had to do them in cursive?
Oh, yeah.
And it would take several days to write a paper. And it was right before, we got to write our papers on the computer and the teachers could actually read them. But they would tell us lies like, you better learn to write in cursive really clearly because the professors in high school won't even accept them if they're in anything other than cursive. And then computers happened and cursive died. So we never had to face the consequences of
I don't have a child. I don't think they teach cursive anymore.
No, they don't. It's a completely...
Well, actually, some schools do.
Latin and cursive.
I actually, my son, who up until this year was going to a certain North Fulton private school, who will not be mentioned.
Okay.
But its initials are KR. But I'm not gonna name it though.
Sure.
They actually for like 3rd and 4th grade require the students to do everything in cursive. So basically, every student suddenly fails everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to ruin the batting average right there, right out of the starting gate.
Yeah. No, there's actually a whole saga that we went through with that, and he's now going to a different school.
Because of cursive, Jason?
Well,
you couldn't teach your son cursive?
Mainly it was because the principal said some rude things to me, and I said, okay, how much am I paying you?
I will not be doing that anymore.
For a public school education plus cursive?
Yeah, and you don't learn the same things in private school that you do in public school. It's just not the same.
I mean, I didn't learn how to make a shiv until I went to public school.
No, like Katie, don't let us stomp all over you. When Jason gets on tangents about his kid and his life and stuff, don't let him stomp all over you. Mention whatever.
Right,
well, here we go.
on.
Intro Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, in case you're listening, you haven't aged in 25 years. Call me. But yeah, we've got to address this right out of the starting gate because his relationship with Alicia Silverstone is so freaking weird. Yes, they're step siblings.
But they're only married the parents were only married for like a year.
Yeah. The whole thing is that Dan Hedaya, Alicia Silverstone's dad, who's a lawyer, and that sort of appears prominently in the movie. Dan Hedaya insists on having Josh, the stepbrother, over for the weekend or something. And Alicia Silverstone's like, God, you were married to his mother 5 years ago for like a minute. Who cares? And he's like, you divorce wives, not children. And he's very serious about it. But he sort of insists on having a relationship with his ex-wife's son, who's grown. So I don't know. But yeah, so he's at their house a lot.
I mean, I still talk with my stepdad, my stepbrother.
No, it's not that you don't talk to them, but would you date your stepbrother, Katie? Is that something that you would consider doing?
Absolutely not. I mean, no, this is weird. I don't like this conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say, way to put her on the spot.
But to be fair, they are not dating yet.
Yet. Okay, she went and spoiled the movie right out of the starting gate.
How many years old is this? Like, if you haven't watched it yet, so sorry.
Get on it. If you haven't seen this since 1995, spoiler alert, Josh and Cher end up together. But yeah, it's
wow, this movie is almost 30 years old.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Thanks.
That's almost 30. You get a year.
Almost means not.
Yeah.
You're just God, but yeah, so they do have a weird relationship. And...
There we go.
Well, I mean, I think anyone with a relationship with Paul Rudd, it's probably going to be a weird relationship. That's just my read. That's my instinct.
What's wrong with Paul Rudd? What are you trying to say, Jason?
Yes, and?
What's wrong with Paul Rudd?
No, it's just a vibe. It's just
You've got a vibe off a man that you've never been in the same room with?
How do you know I've never been in the same room with him? You don't know it.
I don't.
I haven't, though. But
I knew it, listeners. I knew it all.
I hate that we can't watch a movie with sound. Like, I understand why we can't, but the music is so great.
The music is good in this movie. And there are some powerhouse actors in this movie, like Dan Hedaya and Wallace Shawn. Inconceivable from The Princess Bride. And he just plays a high school teacher. An underwhelming high school teacher at that, who teaches debate. But we sort of skip past it. There's a moment when Cher does start off her school day. She's in debate class and she's talking about why Haitians should be allowed into the country.
Haitians.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
She says it
hang
wrong.
on, there's a whole story behind that. Alicia Silverstone actually did mess up in real life and said Haitians, despite the fact that the script says Haitians. So she's like, we could totally party with the Haitians or whatever it is that she says, but the director didn't want it changed. She was like, no, that is such a Cher thing to do. So no, like let's keep it as Haitians. And honestly, I was today years old when I found that out. I
Same.
thought she did it on purpose, and I thought it was a brilliant character move. But no, is maybe Alicia Silverstone kind of is more like Cher than I would have liked to think.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there.
I mean, she was in that god-awful George Clooney Batman rendition, so who knows about her decision-making capabilities.
Well, no, but to be fair, I mean, when somebody says, we'll give you X millions of dollars to be in this, you know,
Disguised.
I don't know. I can't blame her for the Batman and Robin decision. You know, who would have thought?
You know that her agent told her to do that movie. Like, this is going to be the thing that really launches you into the stratosphere or whatever.
I mean, think about it. It's a Batman franchise movie. It's got George Clooney and that guy from Mystic Pizza.
That guy from Mystic Pizza. I'm not doing this with you today.
Okay. They're writing the note right now to Miss
Geist from Mr. Hall.
Yes. And, okay, these teachers see these kids' handwritings all day, every day.
Back in the 90s when we still wrote things instead of typed them. So, yeah.
Right. How does she not? It's not a text message. How does she not notice that this is clearly not a middle-aged man's handwriting? This is probably one of her students.
Because it's in her cubby.
Internal inconsistency in this movie?
You have to suspend your disbelief for this movie too? I thought that was only with fantasy movies like the Star Wars and the Star Treks and whatnot.
Star Wars.
Those things. Those fancy things.
Yeah,
kids
Star Wars is.
No, but
Marilyn Monroe, she's not dead.
Oh, Gwen Stefani sitting in there.
What?
What? She looked like Gwen Stefani.
Oh, well,
y'all are saying two different. No, we're not doing this because y'all are talking about two different things. But Travis, the skater boy that we're looking at right now, that's John Arbuckle from the Bill Murray version of Garfield. And it just makes me sad because he's somehow even shorter than Wallace Shawn in real life.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
They're both very, very tiny people.
Yeah.
Most actors are.
They might be in the Michael J. Fox range of height is my guess.
I like him.
Tom Cruise.
I actually
bring
think,
that back.
No, Tom Cruise is taller. We decided that on your Mummy episode.
I
he's
actually
a little bit
think
taller than Michael J. Fox.
he does a
See Gwen Stefani. Her.
yeah,
She's sitting in leopard print.
He gives one of the best performances though in the movie.
Wallace Shawn does?
Well, Wallace, I mean,
Inconceivable.
he does. No. The skater kid.
Travis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Travis. Yeah, he actually just looking at his performance.
Oh, look at that Starbucks cup. Sorry, I got real excited. Look, I've never seen that look on a Starbucks cup in my entire life.
From
Well,
1995.
that's because it's 30 years old.
And I wasn't drinking coffee at, what, 7 or 8?
Were you not?
I was.
We were 7 or 8.
We're just being jackasses. Don't worry about it. Sanganos. But yeah, Wallace Shawn does give one of the most believable performances. I can go with that because I could totally picture him as a depressing high school teacher. Not to insult him. He sells it really well.
Well, he's a good actor. I mean, this is the guy who, yes, he's known for Inconceivable, but is also the guy from My Dinner with Andre.
And Toy Story, the T-Rex.
Yeah. I mean, no, the guy's got talent, genuine talent.
He's kind of all over the place. I think the last thing I saw him on was Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but the whole premise of this movie is that Cher is trying to improve her grades in high school.
Is that the premise?
That's not... It's
didn't
kind of
know
all over the place.
I didn't know
she's
that's
finding
one. That's part A.
Yeah, she's finding her sense of self and finding love. So that's the real premise. But it starts with Cher and Dion manipulating Mr. Hall and Miss Geist's feelings for each other.
Paul Rudd's reading Nietzsche.
Of course he is. God. And he's growing a goatee. And I think Cher calls it chin pubes, if memory serves. But so she and Dion are trying to manipulate Mr. Hall and Miss Geist into falling in love with each other in order to improve their grades, which is possibly the most self-serving thing I've ever heard of in my life.
I think they have an ulterior motive there. I think they genuinely would like to see,
Well, that comes around later.
I think there's a side effect.
Yeah, I think they have some compassion there too.
They develop it as the movie goes along because Cher
She's clearly not even on the right side of the road.
Yeah, she's learning to drive and she's so terrible at it. How's she ever going to inherit the Batmobile? How's that ever going to happen?
Yeah.
When she inherits George Clooney's franchise of Batman, which never took off.
Yeah. But going back to the whole plot, with them trying to set the teachers up, I do find it interesting in this movie that as we know in real life people like Cher are horrible human beings.
More or less.
That if we knew them in real life, we would want to murder them. But they do a good job in this movie of
humanizing her.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. Cher isn't a bad person.
Well,
in any way, you know, she's not one of the people that we would actually meet in real life that was that materialistic and
But that's
shallow.
because you see her actual home life where she's taking care of her dad and making sure that he eats right, and she's actually kind of kind in her own way.
Right.
But this is the second movie, Jason, if you will note, that Marky Mark gets honorable mention because she's learning to drive. Cher is learning to drive, and she's terrible at it, as Katie said.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, she has to have Josh, her former stepbrother, in the car because, as Dan Hedaya says, 2 permits do not equal a license. No cruising around with Dion.
Yeah.
And so she's driving, and Josh is like, you know, we might get Marky Mark to plant a celebrity tree.
Wow.
And one of the best lines that I think from Cher is, oh, wow, you're going to get Marky Mark to take time from his busy pants-dropping schedule to come and plant a tree? Oh, was Kenny G busy or something to that effect? But it's
because
this so great.
This was before Marky Mark died and regenerated as Mark Wahlberg.
Yes, he became an actual person and a dad, from what I hear. He's a human being now. I'm saying, have you ever seen Marky Mark and Mark Wahlberg in the same room? You have. Because they're the same person. So there's that. But we get back to Miss Geist, where Cher and Dion are trying to manipulate Miss Geist into looking a little bit prettier and getting her together with Mr. Hall. And this brings me to one of the biggest things about this movie, which is the vocabulary. So they say stuff like dope and whatever, which is very 90s, but they also had their own unique sort of language in this movie where when they're talking about pretty girls, like a pretty girl is a Betty, an ugly dude is a Barney, you know, from the Flintstones. You've got cake boy, which means that a guy is gay. And there's a whole line that Donald Faison, who's in this movie, by the way, also, in case any of you are fans of Scrubs, Turk from Scrubs is Dion's boyfriend, Murray. And he's constantly calling her woman and upsetting her and just being a general disappointment to her in Clueless.
And he shaves his head to, quote, keep it real.
Because I'm keeping it real. Yeah. And Dion's like, you know what? You want to play games? And he's like, yeah, you want to play games? She goes, I'm calling your mother. And then he freaks out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a whole thing. So honestly, this movie to me is more...
Kissing. So weird.
Old people kissing. Oh, yeah, because they even say that. Because Miss Geist and Mr. Hall get together, and they're smooching in the faculty parking lot. And Cher and Dion are like, oh, my God, old people can be so sweet. Like, so it's affecting the student's life for the better that Cher and Dion got Miss Geist and Mr. Hall together. Because now everybody's getting better grades across the board. So that's kind of our Act 1 thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's Cher's good deed.
That's really the lesson in this movie. Students, if
your teachers are getting laid.
Yeah, as long as you can make sure your teachers are getting laid, your grades will go up. And I actually do think that's true. I mean, you know.
I'm not going to say it's untrue.
Because I'm thinking back to teachers that I had who gave me bad grades. And I'm reasonably certain they were not getting laid. I mean, I can see them. Yeah, no, there's no way that dude was getting laid.
I'm now looking at these outfits, and I'm now convinced that I have gotten old because I'm like, how short is that skirt?
We know your mother would never have let you out of the house in a skirt that short.
Yeah,
but
I mean, she does short. She does dress like a prostitute.
If your mom won't let you watch
she has
Moulin
a sweater
Rouge,
set on, like.
Yeah, that it is kind of confusing because she's wearing like a very, nice pearls and sweater set, but then she's got the skankiest, shortest skirts on.
Right. Yeah.
And her dad's totally okay. He's okay with pretty much everything until
except
she
her
goes
grades.
out with Christian. And no, when she
But
goes
he
out
was
with...
okay with that until Paul Rudd said something to him.
That's
no,
true.
No. What happened was she's going out with Christian, who turns out to be the cake boy. We find out later thanks to Donald Faison.
An actor who did not set the world on fire.
He did not. Justin Walker,
I
think is his name. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I've never seen him in anything else, literally. But Cher comes out in a very, it leaves very little to the imagination.
It's Calvin Klein.
It's Calvin Klein, Daddy. But he's he's like, Cher, it looks like underwear. You got to put something over it. And she's like, duh, I was just going to. And she puts on this very sheer, see-through sort of top on top of it. But
it's a cover.
Yeah. What's the name? Yeah. What's the name of the one there that's dressed like one of the extras from The Fifth Element?
Amber. The redhead, the one that I said was a hooker in Night at the Roxbury.
Okay, yeah. Because literally every time I see her, and the Fifth Element came out the next year after this, and it's like she's literally, they watched this movie and went, that's it.
Enter Brittany Murphy.
Those are the people we want to model.
Oh yeah, Brittany Murphy.
the late Brittany Murphy. What? And I hate to plead ignorance on this, but what was the story about her passing?
Oh, officially they say that there was like mold in her house or something in her house was affecting her health, and she died in her sleep. That being said, she dated Eminem for quite a time and was kind of known for some drug usage. So there's
so if you're dating Eminem, what you're saying is whatever your death is, the circumstances will be suspicious.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying. No, honestly, her husband is in court or was in court.
Dr. Google. Paging Dr. Google. She died from drug intoxication and pneumonia.
Oh, yeah. So the pneumonia was because of what was happening in her house.
She died from multiple drug intoxication, pneumonia, and iron deficiency anemia.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody dies of iron deficiency.
That's weird.
But yeah, no, I'm thinking about the court case because her mom or her husband sued, saying no, she didn't die of a drug overdose. She died because of something that was happening in her house, and that's what it was. So I'm thinking about the claim more so than
is Jennifer Love Hewitt walking behind them?
No, that's not no.
There's a girl in the 90s with a Jennifer Love Hewitt haircut. Imagine that.
Yeah, hey.
But yeah, Brittany Murphy does show up, and for most people, this is where we first saw both Brittany Murphy, Alicia, well, all of them really, Donald Faison.
Yeah, I was about to say pretty much everybody.
Yeah, it kind of made their careers, and this is a great moment right here because Murray, Donald Faison, runs up to Dion, and she's always like, Murray, I hate when you call me woman. And he's like, yeah, I know that modern terms sometimes are, they've got an insulting quality, but not necessarily a misogynistic undertone or whatever he tells her. But she's like, oh, okay, then you're fine calling me woman and everything's fine with that. But this movie is so quotable. That's what I remember about it. Like the as if and whatever, which I'd like to bring up right now, listeners, that Katie actually dressed for this occasion.
Yes. I did.
We've got pictures and we have an Instagram account. So get excited because you're about to see into our tiny little recording world where we will show you Katie's nice 90s outfit.
Katie did something that Darth and I never do.
Excuse me, I dressed up.
Well, no, what I was going to say is that she did something you and I never do, which is put effort into this.
Oh, right. Yeah, we don't give a crap about this. I'm wearing
90s, I have a 90s belt on. You can't see it.
I'm going to kick you in the face. No, Jason told me last night flat out that he doesn't give two figs about this podcast and that he wouldn't be dressing up. That being said,
I didn't say fig.
I know, you said something else entirely. That being said, I'm dressed more like Paul Rudd from Clueless. I've got a peace sign necklace. We'll show you the pictures.
Grunge is back, man.
But Katie looks great. She's dressed like Cher with the jacket and everything. And we took some pictures, and you'll see, not just that, but you'll see the pictures
hot,
of our
steamy
beers.
Pictures. You have to say stuff like that or they won't go look.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I was actually about to talk about Variant Brewing.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're not, but you have to tell them that.
Well, it gets hot and steamy because of the beers that we're drinking.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So we actually, I know we make fun of ourselves a lot for sticking with the same beers all the time, but believe it or not, listeners, we flipped the script and changed our beers this week. So, Jason, what are you drinking from Variant Brewing?
I am drinking tonight a magnificent, I think it's a porter. It's called Dark Alchemy.
I'm pretty sure it's an IPA.
No, it's not an IPA.
But it is.
But it tastes like
I'm joking. I'm totally
I was about to say. Yeah. Then they screwed up their IPA.
I'm totally messing with you.
No, this is Dark Alchemy, which it tastes like alcoholic Yoo-hoo. And it's delicious. It's one of the best beers.
Ever want to get a 10-year-old drunk? That's the way to do it. No, I'm just kidding. But,
no,
don't do
Darth,
that.
I've never wanted to. You have?
I mean,
Tell us more.
I'm not
Specific instances.
I'm not a celebrity who recently had a very serious allegation against them. Leave me out of this.
Wait, which? Unfortunately, that's kind of vague.
Exactly.
There are so many celebrities that could apply to.
I know. So, so you've got your dark alchemy.
Yes,
so.
I have dark alchemy, which is. I gotta say, I didn't go with my usual, which is, as everybody knows, the Norcross IPA, which is like my favorite beer. But I tried this dark alchemy just on a whim, and I have got to say, I'm going to be hard pressed to switch back.
Oh wow!
It is outstanding.
Okay.
And I see that you do not have a crowler. You have something in a bottle.
Yes, you're exactly right. I went for my Raspberry Lemon Gose after trying the Conditional Love, which is what I'm drinking now. Because, listeners, I'm weak. I want what I love. I wanted the Raspberry Lemon Gose.
But God didn't want you to have it.
No, he didn't. Because, dead serious, they sold out of the Raspberry Lemon Gose. That's how good it is. So they had actually sold the last 3 crowlers because the last person in there before me who said, hey, I'd like to get a Raspberry Lemon Gose crowler. They said, oh, we've only got 3 left. You're just in time. And they were like, oh, well, then I'll take all 3 of them.
Maybe that
robbing me of my Raspberry Lemon Gose.
Or maybe that was Jesus. And he took those 3 because he knew what you needed was conditional love.
Maybe so, because I do love this beer. It actually comes bottled from Variant, and we'll put pictures of our Instagram up on our Instagram. Excuse me.
It's not. They don't sell that one in a crowler, right?
As far as I know, no. They told me we don't have a crowler, so I had it in a bottle, but it's a larger bottle than normal, so it's. Look, Alicia Silverstone has that leotard thing on, so I'm not. Oh, so you're very distracted.
Whatever,
so,
you can just say anything you want.
Miss Katie, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I deviated as well from my Sop, Drop, and Roll, but I got the Variant Mooncloud, and it is an IPA.
Very cool.
And it is delicious.
Good.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but look at Paul Rudd's shirt.
Yeah.
688 Atlanta. I wonder what that means. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're based out of just north of Atlanta.
You're old. You don't know what the... Oh, wait, you're not from here, though.
I'm
from
Louisiana. I'm not from Atlanta, yeah.
That's true.
I know it's 688. I know it's 688.
Dr. Google.
Paging Dr. Google.
The 688 Club was a popular alternative music venue in Atlanta, Georgia.
There you go.
Located at 688 Spring Street.
It was basically our Studio 54.
It closed in 86.
So it was definitely our Studio.
So Paul Rudd's a hipster.
Yeah, it was definitely our Studio 54.
For sure. Liza's still there knocking on the door like, Liza, let me in. I've got to dance.
There were many police and ambulance calls to the 688
That's where she broke
Club.
her hip.
Yeah.
She talks about that in interviews. I broke my hip at the 688 Club.
Cocaine.
It's an alternative music.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Wait, what was alternative music in 1986? That kind of... Think of, alt music, because we say alternative, which is a genre that was invented in the 90s. So you have to wonder, what was alt music in the 80s?
I'm pretty sure I'll be paging Dr. Google in a minute.
Wait, he's responding.
Oh, goodness.
The Cure, R.E.M., The Smiths, Violent Femmes.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's late 80s.
Yeah, I could see. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alternative rock sort of a deal.
God, I wish I could have gone to that club. I would love.
In your dad jeans.
All right. Okay, so now I've got like 3 things ahead of go back and kill Hitler if I ever get a time machine.
Go to the
688
Club.
Hitler's just falling further and further down the list of priorities.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Get around to it. But
Fifth Element.
Oh God, you keep saying
hair.
Amber and yelling Fifth Element. No, Hooker from Night at the Roxbury.
No.
Richard Grieco.
Yeah, let's be honest though. The one that looks like a hooker is Alicia Silverstone.
She doesn't look like a
She's
hooker.
got she's got a sweater vest on.
Yeah, okay.
So basically you're saying Katie looks like a hooker because she's wearing Cher's jacket. Is that what you're saying, Jason?
Well, I wasn't going to say it explicitly, but now that you put me to it, fine.
You're welcome. But yeah, so
this movie is probably very popular in Japan.
Oh God.
I'm just saying.
With the short skirts?
Yeah.
No Dr. Krieger porn for you. But yeah, so here's the thing that with this movie is that like Cher goes through this discovering her sense of self where she's trying to sort of perform good deeds. And part of that is hooking up Brittany Murphy with this guy named Elton. where they make over Brittany Murphy's character, who's named Ty, because she comes in all skater and she's kind of punk looking,
A little more
grungy.
Grungy. Yeah, I'd say
Whereas
grunge.
this is Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive.
But it reminds me of Mean Girls, which it shouldn't, because this is way No, but Mean Girls, reminds me of Clueless, because
Debate.
They have a scene in Mean Girls that's kind of similar to what happens with Ty when she first shows up, because Cher and Dion are like, okay.
Oh, for God's sakes. We're doing Rambo next week.
Oh, are you losing your sense of manhood, Jason?
No, I'm bored.
You go shoot a deer. Oh, you're bored.
Get some of your friends to come on then.
I
Wait.
don't have friends.
If we see a Gadzooks in this movie, I'll be really excited.
Oh, God. But no, this and Mean Girls is so similar in my head, because when Ty first comes on the scene, Cher and Dion are like, okay, those are the rich Persian kids. You can't talk to them unless you own a Mercedes or whatever she says. And those are the burnouts. They sit on the hill and, they're good for a laugh every now and then. But it's just like the scene where in Mean Girls, they bring Lindsay Lohan into the cafeteria. Like, those are the sexually active band geeks and those are the beautiful people. You're not allowed to talk to them. Like, so it's got a very similar vibe. And it's just Mean Girls, but in 1995, for those of you who are too young to remember 1995.
Or we're too stoned to remember.
That's a astute possibility.
Yeah.
Look, more plaid.
Oh, it's all, even the actually dressy clothes in the 90s had plaid.
This would be
involved.
a great drinking game. Plaid, take a drink.
Oh, take a shot.
Yeah, I really wish that this era of fashion would just come back. 100%.
It has.
No,
in a way it has.
Grunge has.
Jason, you dress in the same
never
five shirts every week with khakis interspersed with jeans.
Look, I think you wore this last time I was here.
Look. Well, I've only got 3 shirts, so the odds are
exactly
like 33%.
Look, okay.
Maybe
this
we
shirt,
tapped into something.
A blue shirt, and usually it's a blue shirt with white stripes. Do you know what Christopher Columbus's crew was wearing when they?
Oh, Jesus!
Blue shirts with white stripes. This is what we've been wearing for hundreds of years.
This is how old Jason is, because in 1492, Jason wore the shirt that's blue. So that's exactly what's happening.
I have to take exception to that. I get seasick. There was no way I was going on that damn trip.
I'm gonna throw something at you.
So Cher's very upset with her shoe right now, or very upset with Travis for ruining her shoe.
All right, we're talking about
me. This is me 100%. I think I've gotten mad at people for ruining my shoes.
Oh, big time. Yeah. So they go to this party in the valley, and Cher's mission is once again to hook up Ty and Elton. And this is, I think people really remember this, a couple of scenes from the party, because like Jason mentioned, Murray shaves his head because he's keeping it real. And Dion calls his mom on a cell phone that's roughly the size of my car.
Is this the scene where she's almost raped by the guy that looks like a handsome Kylo Ren?
No, that it happened shortly after this. Okay, but that's Elton, who you're thinking about. Yeah. So they're at the party right now, and they're playing this game called Suck and Blow with a driver's license.
I've never heard this game ever.
No,
not
this game never existed.
They're literally just taking a driver's license and sucking it against their lips, and then sort of kissing their partner and passing it along, and Elton sneaks a kiss from Cher, and she's like, God, Elton, can't you suck? And it's just like, all right. I didn't get a lot of the innuendo from this movie back in the day.
I think you probably
in the TV, so Clueless, spinoff TV show.
Oh, yeah.
I swear, this other guy is in the TV show.
What other guy? The one who's shaving Murray's head?
Yeah, he's shaving his head. He looks familiar. Because it wasn't the Murray in the movie was the Murray in the TV show, because very few people made it.
There was a TV show.
Yeah, there was.
I watched it every morning right before walking to school, because listeners, I used to walk to middle school. It was a mile away from my house.
Yeah, she lived very close.
So much is being explained right now.
You're the oldest person in the room. Be quiet.
No.
I'm sure you walked to school uphill both ways in the snow.
No, I rode my P-Row.
My dad has legit given me that.
With your Astro Boy haircut.
Yeah, I left my pet alligator at home, and I got on my P-Row and then rode to school.
They have alligators in Louisiana? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so in the TV the characters from the movie that made it to the TV show were Stacey Dash, Donald, what is it?
Faison. So Stacey Dash is Dion.
Yeah, Dion. Murray made it. Amber, who is Eliza,
AKA
Donovan.
Night at the Roxbury hooker.
Exactly. And then Sean Holland, who was the guy shaving his head. So yes, he did make it over.
Oh, so he was Murray.
And
Okay,
Brittany
cool.
Murphy did make it for a little bit, but she was not Ty, she was Jasmine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
I,
used to watch
had
it
no
all.
idea. I was today years old when I learned that there was a Clueless TV
Oh my God,
show.
I watched it all the time.
Didn't
I
know.
loved it.
I was probably too busy
long
taking up
did
your
it
time in
run?
middle school quoting movies for me to know that.
Not long.
I like her. Having her in here is like having Alexa or Siri. You just tell
You should paging
Katie.
Dr. Google.
Katie, how long did Clueless the series run?
Let's see.
Piss off.
Oh, my Google has actually started thanking me for saying please.
Oh yeah, no.
Skynet is so close to taking over my
So
entire
it was on
life.
ABC for 1 year from 96 to 97, and then UPN back in the day.
UPN!
97 to 99.
Which is a nice shout out to Clerks, the animated series,
Yeah,
because
Oh God, here we go.
they pitched that show to UPN, who loved it, loved
Shocker.
it, and really wanted it on their network. But then I think it was Fox actually made them a better
ABC.
offer. ABC, you're
yeah.
right. ABC made them a better offer and then screwed them over with their time slots. So they should have gone with UPN, and maybe Kevin's career would have been totally different. Who knows?
Wow. So
Yeah, because his career is awful right now. He doesn't have anything going
Well,
for him right now.
They're making yet another Jay and Silent Bob
yeah,
installment.
they're doing what, a sequel to Chasing Amy? I heard.
Oh,
What? No, there's some
no.
things that should not be remade because they are
There's something that
classic.
shouldn't have been made in the first place. Like Chasing Amy was terrible. Chasing Amy is god awful.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. I love you and most of your work, but Chasing Amy is not part of it.
Do you
And
love,
there goes the fan base.
do you
Hey,
love
Ben Affleck, get on before I kick you on. Go.
Yeah, do you love Kevin Smith's work or do you love a few things?
I
that
love
he's
Jeff
done?
Anderson,
Yeah.
aka Randall Graves.
This is Dogma was the first Kevin Smith movie I think I ever saw.
Dogma's good.
My father let me
Dogma's
watch
great.
anything.
Yeah.
That movie came out like I think in '99, but
Well-
I learned so many bad words from that movie.
Dogma.
Yeah.
Dogma is.
I was very sheltered.
Dogma is a movie that if you're not Catholic, you can't appreciate.
Excuse me. I'm Protestant.
Did you go to a Methodist church when we were in middle school?
That's Protestant.
Yeah, it's Protestant.
That's Protestant.
anything that's Christian but not Catholic or Mormon is Protestant.
Yeah.
So.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
I was Catholic.
So yeah, you knew the right way to be Christian. I knew the going to America way to be Christian.
So the movie
Right, that
is
thing that
about
I usually have to
a
tell you to
girl
get back
who-
on topic.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, okay. So honestly, we're not
Got
missing
any
a
thoughts
ton
on
of
Islam
that.
while we're at it?
Anyway,
I know that hummus is
Oh,
Arabic
hummus.
for
Oh
chickpea.
my god!
it's hummus.
No, it isn't. It's hummus.
I'm sorry, I learned it from a Tom Jane show
Yeah.
that I'm really fond of.
I've been to a Fridays. It's hummus.
Anyway,
You should not take life advice from Fridays ever.
never. Honestly, we haven't missed that much because this is what I told Josh. when we
There's
were-
not that much to miss.
No, there's not. But that's what I told Josh when I was rewatching it and taking my notes. It's a 2-hour long movie.
No, it
But
isn't.
it's only 90 minutes.
No, it's like 90 minutes.
Mommy was 2 hours.
Yeah, this is a short movie.
Yeah, it's like 96 minutes.
It's only 9. It felt longer.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
You're ruining.
Let's take bets. I bet
No,
it's.
I still love this movie, but I was taking notes and I was like, there were just moments where I had nothing to write, no thoughts.
20
Like,
bucks.
There is no deep. You're not getting any epiphanies from this movie.
Well, despite the fact that they quote Shakespeare.
Oh, come on.
They do!
Only because Mel Gibson.
Yeah, because of Mel Gibson. But I mean, this movie has its moments, and it's mostly for its quotability.
He just has like the evil hands. Like,
I know.
all right.
He
He
took
took her
so
to a
evil
liquor.
Kylo Ren
He
is
took
about
her
to molest
to.
Cher.
He
Yeah.
took her to a liquor store
So,
in the
rape?
valley.
Yeah. So, rape anyone? Rape?
No.
Anyone?
It's
Right?
not that severe. It's literally just like Elton kissing her, and she's like, "Stop it! I was trying to set you up with Ty." And he goes,
Uh,
"Why?"
Why?
But
Why would I want to be with Ty?
well, there's just this whole thing about Cher is really staging the relationship between Ty and Elton.
Do you think my helmet looks like a duck? Sorry.
Get out, Darth.
No, Kylo.
Wait, I'm Darth. Right. Oh, Kylo. Okay. But no.
His reasoning behind I have her picture in my locker because you took the picture.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's like, why are you keeping another picture of a girl?
Well, look, to be
because
fair.
another girl.
to be
took
fair,
it.
what?
Look,
Let's listen to this.
To be fair, he clearly, based on the fact that he's about 45 years old and still in high school.
So Luke Perry on 90210.
He's probably got some sort of a
too
learning
soon, man.
disability.
R.I.P.
There's no such
or-
thing as too soon.
R.I.P.
I wasn't saying, yeah, God, now I can't make my learning disability joke.
You know
Because
what?
now people are going to say I'm...
You know what? We're never going to recover from your JFK joke. So just calm
wasn't a
down.
joke. It was more of an anecdote. And he's driving a Camaro
So
And
it's 1995. That's perfectly feasible.
in Beverly Hills.
Dwight
Driving-
Schrute drives, no, not a Camaro. He drives
So it's
some other 80s car.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay, but there's lots of 80s cars.
You're old.
What does that have to do with what is?
You remember all the cars from the 80s.
Yes, because I know about cars. Okay,
this is the 90s.
let's get back to talking about the dresses.
Oh, and her getting held up at gunpoint in... Oh, because the
Just
dress...
just wait till the 1954 Nash Metropolitan.
I love
has its
her
show.
when she goes, "This is
an
an
Elia." You and I always sync up on specific lines. It's
Sorry
great.
about that, audience. We just buried the needle on the volume.
And you're deaf again. Well, y'all are going to be mad because Jason actually fixed my volume before this episode, so you can blame him at North Foggy on Twitter.
Well, to be fair, if I had fixed it, you wouldn't be able to hear her. Ooh!
It's true. But yeah, Cher's having a bad night because Ty doesn't hook up with the guy that she wants her to hook up with, and then she gets kind of sexually harassed in a circus liquor parking lot.
Sexually assaulted, I would say. I mean, he was...
He tried to kiss her. I'm not saying that like unwanted
What
advances
What
aren't
am I, the guy over
are-
here?
good, but I'm just saying like okay.
Because you've never been sexually assaulted.
I'm just saying, I'm the guy saying the guy should go to jail. You two are defending him.
No, we're not defending him. We've seen worse. Like on average.
No,
So-
that's fair. This is we're very desensitized. Like I was looking in their kitchen. This is a Beverly Hills mansion, and I was like, I've seen bigger kitchens than this.
Especially in the South. But
Right?
this is a big moment right here where most of the women figured out that Alicia Silverstone was going to wind up with Josh. Because when she gets sexually assaulted and attacked and then mugged.
The minute,
Well, she says,
yeah,
"Who's a loser?" That
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was earlier. It doesn't.
No,
have anything to
that's
do.
a completely
Yeah.
that's a completely
yeah,
different
the,
thing.
the
When
men
he's
figured it
teaching-
out about 5 minutes after the movie began, but continue.
You know what? You know what? No, but the women figured it out because after she gets assaulted / mugged, whatever, the first person she calls for help is Josh. So even though he's in the middle of making out in some very 90s jeans, by the way, with this woman who's wearing a beret.
Cher wore a beret like 3 times earlier.
That reminds me of
She
the
made
90s.
it look better, though.
well, duh, it's Cher.
On a bed with a girl in a beret wearing blue jeans. Yeah, that was the 90s.
In case we weren't clear, that Jason's the oldest man in all of history and time. But, yeah, so
yeah.
Josh...
By the way, you're riffing on a movie that you loved when you were a kid. The movie is 30 years old. So, welcome
less than 30 years old.
welcome to the club.
You're just saying that because I'm in my 30s. You're in your 40s. I don't even want to hear it. But yeah,
And loving it.
Cher 100% schools Josh's date in the car. And it's kind of like a power move because Josh's date is like, it's like Hamlet said, to thy own self be true. And Cher's like, no, Hamlet didn't say that. That Polonius guy did. And she's like, excuse me, I think I remember Hamlet accurately. And she goes, well, I remember Mel Gibson accurately, and just schools, I think, an English major or a poetry major on Hamlet. So that was a pretty good slam.
And here we are.
major.
Ty is upset that Elton doesn't like her, and she goes, "It's my hips," and that definitely is a '90s thing versus a now
big
thing
time.
because I don't know, butts and hips. That's what's in right now.
That, and later in the movie when Ty is into Josh, and she's like, well, we were talking about, like, you know, how guys like girls are in college because they wear less makeup on their face, and that's why guys like them more. And it's like, holy shit, that's the most middle school thing I've ever heard in my life. But they, RIP, they bring up Luke Perry right now because the girls, when they find out that Elton doesn't like Ty, they blow off school and take Ty to the mall. And they go see the new Christian Slater movie. So you know it's 1995.
It's Slater. It's a mononym.
It's a mononym. We've talked about it. And Katie has a blank face again because we're referencing a show that she doesn't watch, aka Archer.
I've watched Archer.
Christian Slater's in Archer.
I know. I'm paying more attention to this because there's like a penis reference coming up with the breadsticks.
Okay. Yeah, they're talking about breadsticks, and they're talking about how some guys curve. You take over.
Go on, ladies. Discuss.
They're holding breadsticks and they're talking about
how they know
the anatomy of the male anatomy. And yeah, they're just talking about, and she said, don't scare Cher because she's a virgin.
Yeah.
And they talk about a virgin like it's a freaking Nazi. Like, don't touch your leper, like all that stuff. I will gladly say, at that age, I had no idea what they were talking about. I was like, I don't understand what's going on right now.
I got the gist of what they were going for.
No, they actually,
I did too, but it wasn't.
They talk about it like they're Nazis talking about Jews.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
No, that's. Cher
but
ist eine Juden.
I want no part.
She has nicht bestimmt.
I'm gonna hit you so hard in the face. They're talking about guys' curvature, and they don't get into shrinkage quite like Seinfeld does, but
Jinkos. We got some Jinkos.
Jabos.
Oh shit, Jinkos. Yeah, and this is a great moment with Cher, where she's talking about how she's the one who abstains from having a boyfriend, having sex, whatever, because she's like, oh my God, these people with their saggy pants and their boxers and their backwards caps and their greasy hair, like we're expected to swoon? I don't think so. And then you get Christian, the soon-to-be pronounced...
obviously gay.
According to
so
men.
You know what?
This is a high school girl
obviously gay guy.
Yeah, he's just so well-coaffed, well-groomed.
He's clean.
Yeah, he took a shower this week.
Sploosh.
So there's that.
Sploosh.
Cher is like, I've done so many good deeds setting up or trying to set up Ty and like helping these people. Oh, but wait a minute. Is it okay if I look for a boy for myself? And so she falls in love with Christian head over heels, and he's in her debate class and they start hanging out. But she starts tempting him with these really obvious ploys of like, oh my gosh, so I started ordering myself flowers and chocolates and stuff just so he'd know how desired I am. And that's just her ploy for getting a boy to pay attention to her. Because Jason, as a professional man over there,
yes.
And I use the word professional very loosely.
I have 40 years of well, 30 years.
What does it take to get a man to pay attention to a woman if she's looking?
Breasts.
Oh, okay. And Cher's got those sort of.
It's not that complicated. Actually, speaking for men of the world as an duly appointed representative.
All of you out
men,
there, he's your representative. Are you comfortable with that?
What Cher is doing is she's interested in him, and she wishes to express her interest in him, and she chooses all of these sort of cute little subterfuges to do this instead of just fucking telling him.
This is high school. You literally don't do that in high school. That's why they make fun of you and they say it's high school.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I'll even go so far as to introduce a personal
All these
anecdote.
people have tattoos. Like, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
it's Catherine O'Hara.
It's very.
Oh no, it's not.
No, that's the hooker.
Sorry.
Night at the Roxbury.
Sorry, I thought it was Catherine O'Hara. I'm sorry.
She's not saying bebe, so why don't you just calm down? But yeah, middle school, high school was so awkward because you were so in love with somebody instantly, but you had no idea how to express it. Kind of our Eddie Izzard. Yeah. Oh, hello, Sue. I saw you in the room. Do you have legs? Me too. Great. And you just don't know how to say
you have
that
no idea.
To your potential partner.
Well, you're so afraid of rejection that
that's your driving
you
thing,
always save. You're always trying to get out there just enough so that if they say no, you can act like you didn't actually
just
want.
Kidding.
Yeah, or I want to tell you something, but I'm afraid to. Or you don't want to hurt this person. Or
but I think
I know somebody who likes you.
Schools participate in this nonsense because if you recall, Katie, from middle school, we used to have carnation sales for Valentine's Day, and you could send a carnation to your Valentine. Ooh. I sent one.
Not to interrupt, but seriously.
But you do, though.
I know. I didn't actually even notice the oral fixation until you mentioned it, and now it's all I see.
You're
Yeah,
welcome. You're welcome.
She's constantly putting something in her mouth.
I mean, chocolates.
I don't think there's a single,
Nothing dirty. Just.
Well, no, she washes it first. I mean, she's not an animal.
No, there should
Like,
be no laugh
jeez.
to that. There should be no laugh to that. It should be crickets.
What are you talking about?
Anyway.
Oh, Christ.
Anyway.
You see, you think obscene thoughts, and so,
Such a douchebag right now.
Hey.
Can somebody get
Hey.
the door? Somebody get I can't answer the door. And
Oh,
Paul Rudd does
oh,
it. He
him.
just strolls
Oh,
in. He's
him.
just like this little turn. And Paul Rudd's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
right
okay.
now?
To give you listeners some context, Cher has started dating, in her mind, she started dating Christian, the cake boy, without realizing
It's not
yet
a cake
that
boy yet.
I was getting to that, Katie. Without realizing that he's gay, and Dan Hedaya hates him right out of the starting gate. Like, what are you, Sammy
Well,
Davis
yeah.
Jr.? Like,
Yeah.
he hates his Rat Pack hat and
Yeah.
his whole vibe. And there we go. Paul Rudd sees Cher coming down in her Calvin Klein dress.
This is like a throwback to Gigi.
Thank you, Calvin Klein.
Oh, so that you appreciate about this movie?
Well,
Naturally.
yeah.
She does have boobs.
What am I? Yes. No. I watched this because of the very deep story. No. It's basically Citizen Kane with boobs.
Citizen Kane is about a sled.
No, it isn't. The sled is incidental. Don't make me go all James May on you, because I'm actually about to in the car.
I will bring up the
Oh,
Office
wait,
debate
here's the-
about Citizen Kane so hard, but
Here we have the cover up, which is a see-through sheer
yeah, like I
little,
mentioned earlier,
coat.
because
All right.
Cher, your dress looks like underwear.
Okay, everyone shut up. 1954 Nash Metropolitan. Okay.
I love that you know the exact
This
car.
this car is. Can you imagine when this car came out? It cost $1,200.
1957.
Well, they
I
made
believe
it.
is what you
No,
said.
that's a 54. They made it. No, but they made it for about 5 years. They made something like 60,000 of those. Had a 1.5 liter straight four in it. And for Christ's sake,
Jerry
ahead.
Seinfeld has an erection somewhere right now.
Go
because of what you're
ahead, talk
saying.
about the dresses.
And here's our first instance, listeners, where Paul Rudd, you kind of get the gist that he's into Cher.
No,
where
the
he
second she
decides-
walks down the stairs, he's like, he just is dumbstruck.
Yeah, but here's the confirmation
Yeah.
where he's
Yeah.
like, you don't need me, right? I should go to this party,
Yeah, 'cause
right?
he's
And the
helping
dad's
Cher's
like,
dad.
the dad's like, I could give two fucks.
Oh, and then the ska
The
band.
mighty Boss Tones.
See, you laughed. The fucking 90s music, man, is amazing.
I'm not saying I hated it back then. I
Wait,
just have
you-
sense now.
But you know,
No, I love it more now than I
Oh,
did then.
God.
You
By
know-
the way, it is 20 years since 10 Things I Hate About You came out.
you
Just throwing that
you
out
know which
Yeah.
band that is, though, right? It's the Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah, with Dickie Barnett as himself.
Well, yeah, I mean the whole band is.
Yeah, they actually
yeah,
make an appearance
yeah.
with the most pitiful stage dive that has ever happened in the history of cinema.
Yeah, they did not last long. But no, but I
But
agree
the
with you.
the
No,
lyrics to this,
Mighty Boss Tones, Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Oh.
Do either of you remember the Squirrel Nut Zippers?
I think there's
Yes.
a cover band.
No.
I'm totally fucking
Yeah,
with you.
no.
No, there's no cover band.
Welcome back, Katie. I miss you.
Oh, the little overalls.
But yeah, Ty. Okay, so they've gone to this frat party that's inexplicably in an emptied out, very polished garage slash.
It's a very
Warehouse.
clean.
It's a
very
typical thing.
clean.
It's a
very
typical
clean.
thing.
Well, we all know. I mean, fraternity members would have gotten there hours before, scrubbing everything, making sure it was perfectly polished.
Maybe Ted Bundy murdered somebody
It's
and then cleaned
called
it up first. I don't
hazing.
know.
They
Well,
had to
that's
use
true.
toothbrushes.
Oh right, stepping on Doritos.
Fifth Element.
Oh, what? Night at the Roxbury Hooker. How many times do I have to say it? But this
She
is
dresses.
great.
I love her
She dresses
tiara.
like Ruby Rod.
Hang
She's
on,
got a
she
tiara.
does. Well, no, Ruby Rod dressed he dressed
Actually,
way
that's
better
true.
than
Yeah,
Amber.
Ruby Rod did.
And she
dress
said,
well.
she references her outfit as a Monet. She says,
No, it's not even. It's not outfit. It's Amber herself.
Amber herself.
And they actually do a recall to that. They do a shout out on Scrubs many years later because of that. Because right now, the girls are kind of fretting over, oh my gosh, is Amber pretty? And Cher's like, no, she's a full-on Monet. And Brittany Murphy's like, well, what's that? And she goes, oh, I mean, from far away, it's all right, I guess. But then you get up close and it's a big old mess. But on Scrubs, many years later, Donald Faison, who's in this movie, Clueless, he's Turk on Scrubs. He makes up his own acronym. I can't remember what it is, but he's like, oh yeah, she's cute from far away, but when you get close, oh, she's like a dumpster fire. And it's the exact same joke.
Wait, you mean like a butterface?
That's a misogynistic tone.
Oh, that's
that was the line. That was the line.
Hey, a guy can be a butt his face. Come on, okay. It's the same thing.
I mean, there's no need to come down on yourself right now, Jason. It's just...
See, you just softballed it, and I'm going to leave that one there.
Anyway.
Because I don't want to...
I love the outfit changes Ty goes through while she's trying to stand out and look cute. Well, that's how
diverse the
there we go. Oh, changed it again.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Blossom.
No, but it's not changing. She's literally just... She's got a little top on... At first on her shoulders, and then she ties it around her hair, and she's literally just trying to attract anyone.
Her outfit is versatile.
Yeah, but it's
like
so
three
90s.
Three pieces, 10 ways.
But yeah, and the lyrics too. I know most people don't pay attention to the lyrics
of a Mighty Mighty Boss Tone song. No, we don't.
But it's like there was this girl, and I don't know her name either, and it just none of it makes any sense. And I said I'd never leave her. If I did, I would write to her reminder. Maybe I will. Like it's so forgetful and so ridiculous.
I want to listen to Black
I love
Hole
the
Sun
dancing,
now.
by the way. Like the way he's dancing. Like I think my dad. Like that was how my dad danced with us as kids.
Oh,
like,
and here Paul Rudd can't dance, and then you see Christian who's out with Cher, and Paul Rudd sees Christian having a super gay moment with another dude. Where he's clearly trying to attract another man.
To be fair, that's probably not a really super gay moment. I can think of something that would be, but that's moderate.
Now I'm just looking at Jason with
I'm just saying
some suspicion in my eyes.
Hey,
you guys weren't stationed with Jason overseas. If you were, you'd understand what happened between him and his buddy Johnny. Another shout out to Scrubs. But anyway, so Cher is super into Christian at this point. And has no idea that he's gay. But it's Donald Faison who brings that up later, that Christian has no interest in women. But yeah, Brittany Murphy falls asleep in her super 90s outfit in the club, and they go home. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of filler in this movie where now Josh and Cher are on their way home, and she's like, oh my God, you know what would be so dope is if we brought some food back for Daddy and the lawyers who are working at home. And he's like, yeah, I guess that would be pretty dope of us. And
what is that word you say?
Yeah, they make Josh out to be, they make Paul Rudd's character to be like this 40-year-old man, but he's like a year or two older than Cher, who's sick. Yeah. Or a couple of years older.
He's in college. She's in high school.
Yeah, she's 16. So it's not that different. They make, and that was a thing that I think it's just a perspective from college versus middle school or high school. You look at college kids as these grown-up individuals, when really college kids are even more idiotic.
Freedom.
Well, is anybody really grown up?
Oh, she's gonna get hair in his food.
He's eating Cheetos. I mean, that's probably the most natural thing that's in that food.
Well, it's a cute moment. He's eating an entire salad bowl of Cheetos or Doritos, and he's like, how many hours on average do you spend grooming yourself? And this is the one line I related to, because she's like, some of us aren't as lucky to be as naturally adorable as you are. And God, Paul Rudd, good for you, because seriously, he might be one of the best looking men ever, but who knows?
He did get better with age.
I don't think he's even changed. It's
like
just
Steve
like
Buscemi.
He didn't.
The shrunken head guy from Beetlejuice. Is that what you're talking about?
Stop it. Nightmares.
Oh, she doesn't like Beetlejuice.
No. Oh, I love Beetlejuice.
Are you ragging on Steve Buscemi?
Yes, I am.
Get out. You're fired.
Yeah, you're
fired.
dismissed. You're no longer... Oh, this moment. I don't understand this, because Katie, tell me if you ever did this, where Alicia Silverstone's sitting on the couch and then just randomly puts an assortment of clips in her hair. Like, she's got a big like banana clip and then just randomly puts metal clips in her hair, and it looks terrible.
Yeah, no, I never did that. I never did that. I had the clips. I mean, I would wear like one of those.
Outfits.
I would wear one of those. Like, you know, I put my hair up in a ponytail and I needed to catch like the flies, but that was it.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy is playing on in the background while Josh and Cher are. Her name is so ridiculous in this movie. They're sitting, and like you said, she's wearing a nice little sweater set, and But they're watching Ren and Stimpy, so that should age this movie plenty.
Yeah, that should give you an idea of just
This
how
is one of my
old.
favorite parts of the movie. It's playing like this is right when she's trying to get ready for, or she's packing for her dad.
Yeah, she's packing some clothes for a trip for her dad, and the line is
She picks
Christian
up her.
said he
She
would
picks up her
call.
World War II field telephone.
Yeah, it is a huge ass telephone.
Yes,
but
General Eisenhower.
But bomb the Germans. But not today, Germans. We like you. Don't run away like every other nationality.
They're all right.
No, but she says Christian said he would call the next day, but in boy time that meant 3 days. And oh my god, I was so stoked when he actually called me. So Christian's coming over to watch a movie with her, and she's essentially prepping to lose her virginity to him.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what's happening. She calls Dion over. She gets her all made up and dressed up, and
Which
she's got big plans for this evening with Christian.
Which is whatever. Just it's sort of like you don't have to do that much work, honey.
Once again, Jason, what attracts you? To
I'm just saying.
We already covered this, boobs.
Well, and there are subtle nods to Christian's sexual.
Tons of them.
Oh
sexual, yeah.
Which
his
again,
preference.
at that age, did not pick up on any of them.
No. But one of the smartest jokes about his
Reading
sexual...
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Oh, look, she has like these random clips in her hair again.
Yeah, she does. That was very 90s. Oh, yeah, because when he's coming over, she throws an entire log of cookie dough into the oven without separating it into cookies and burns it. And he's like, oh, honey, you baked. But one of the best lines about his sexual indication is... She's like, oh yeah, Christian said he'd bring over some tapes and we'd watch them. He was a big fan of Tony Curtis, so he brought over Some Like It Hot and Sporadicus.
Yeah.
And Sporadicus, not Spartacus.
I was gonna say, it's Spartacus.
No,
like,
she says Sporadicus.
yeah, I remember that, but I remember like looking at it now. I was like, wait a second, I don't remember Spartacus being mentioned here. And I was like, that's because it wasn't said right.
And he's a big
inside.
fan of Tony Curtis.
Come on inside. I want to touch your penis.
Is that really all it takes? Damn, I've been doing it wrong this entire time.
No, that's what he said.
Oh, okay.
Hey, come on. You're the Family Guy fan. You should have gotten that. The John Travolta bit.
This is the dirtiest episode yet.
That is an old Family Guy bit. I promise to touch your penis. No, not touch your penis.
Anyway, so Cher makes some very... She's actually being okay. She's trying to sort of scoot toward Christian and cuddle with him on the bed, and she ends up falling off of it when she's trying to pose. But she's like, oh, my feet are cold. Let's snuggle feet. And he just puts a pillow on her, like, there, now you're good. Like, it's just so obvious that he's not interested in her.
There we go. Off the bed.
I was straight off the bed.
One of the devices.
I'm fine. It's okay. It's great. Oh my God, I'm okay.
And he figures out that she's trying to hook up with him now because she's like, hey, I could get you some wine or something. 16-year-olds. And he's like, you ever notice how wine makes people want to feel like sexy? And she's like, well, that's okay. And he's like, I have to go. So
this is
get desperate. Oh my God, don't leave.
This is why older women are more attractive, because they say things like, would you like to have sex now? Yes, please.
As opposed to, can I get you a glass of wine?
Would you like to come up for a cup of coffee? No, I'd prefer to have sex. Oh, well, that's fine.
I like my women the way I like my coffee in a plastic cup. But
covered in bees.
I don't want a cup of coffee with you. You're covered in bees. But yeah, so Cher's just kind of bewildered because I think she's been rejected literally for the first time in her life when a gay man doesn't want to have sex with her.
Masturbate until her fingers bleed. It's an Archer reference.
I know.
That was from the Burt Reynolds episode.
I know. But Burt Reynolds is not in this movie, and there's nobody in this movie who's worth it.
This is the scene where Murray talks about
the cake boy, and I have this written down. This
is an interesting scene because they get attacked by a time traveling semi truck. Because if you watch it, it suddenly approaches them. It suddenly approaches them 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like multiple semi-trucks, I think.
No, it's the same one, but they just keep editing it, and every single time it's rushing up on them.
His car says my joint, and I just saw this for the first time.
I was today years old, Katie.
I was today years old.
You literally just did that to me. I had no idea. But, oh God, even the outfits that they're wearing are so 90s. Like,
the choker with the daisies?
Yeah, the choker with the daisies. And
chokers are hot.
So
women should wear chokers.
No, the tank top over the white t-shirt.
For a little bit. No, my roommate had a Decades Day, and we were sitting there, we were like, why don't we do 90s? I was like, oh shit. I was like, 90s is considered a decade now because when we had decade days, we were in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now the 90s is a
We used to have to
decade.
dress 80s or dress 70s.
60s, yeah.
Well, we mentioned this on a prior episode, but you know
Tock.
that that 70s show is on Nick at Night.
Oh, yes. No.
When we were in high school, that show was popular. But
We were in middle school. That show was popular.
oh yeah, you're right. But
I'm
oh yeah,
always right.
so they do have a moment because Dion is also learning how to drive alongside Cher, and they accidentally get on the freeway. But
So a box truck?
no, a semi truck.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just pointing out the different trucks.
Okay. Anyway, all the different trucks in Clueless, in case you weren't listening. But yeah, Murray, aka Donald Faison, has this fantastic line.
I love the old woman who gives her the finger.
Yeah, and Cher's just yelling, "Shut up! Shut up! Leave us alone!" But and all the motorbike, but I kind of remember this. I can
there's the
relate to
semi?
this. Oh, there's the semi with the red top. Yeah, okay.
I
And
like to point out, this is LA. There's not this much freeway to like do this in LA. There's always traffic. It would be okay.
oh yeah, you're right. Jason. Okay. Meanwhile, in Cairo, but yeah, okay, all right, I see it. But Donald Faison has probably one of the most quotable lines in this entire movie because Cher is talking about, "Oh my God, I was gonna sleep with Christian, but I can't believe I was so capricious about it." And Donald Faison starts laughing, like, "Oh my God, Christian? Your friend Christian is a cake boy." And she and Dion are like, "What?" He goes, "A cake boy. He's a disco dancing, Oscar Wilde reading, Streisand ticket holding Fred and Dorothy. Know what I'm saying?" And he's gay. And so he has to spell it out for both of the girls that Christian's gay.
Well, because they are both mildly retarded.
I mean, kind of like Rocco's dog.
Yeah, I mean,
and Rocco's boyfriend, Heifer, as we've discussed. But
they're married.
oh, his boyfriend just got married. Little King Trash Mouth, he's gay. But yeah, so Cher is she's kind of innocent despite the fact that she's...
Well, yeah, and that's
But
what
she just
that's
came to
what I was
terms
that's what I was
right
saying
now.
earlier is that they even though she's very, very materialistic and everything else, they go out of their way to establish that Cher is not a bad person. She's a good person at heart.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's kind of cute because later in the movie, there's some point where she calls Ren and Stimpy existential. She's like, "Oh, they're way existential." And Josh is like, "Do you have any idea what the hell you're talking about?" And she goes, "No." "Why do I sound like I do?" And so that's kind of, she's just fronting. She's trying to be a grown up when she's 16, and it's not really working for her.
Well, I mean, you could step back from the movie a little bit and look at her as somebody who she's a product of this environment that she lives in.
Sure.
She lives in that, but at the same time, she's aware that it's not exactly what she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have much chance to be until she becomes, Legally Blonde later on.
No, that's Reese Witherspoon, who was actually, it could have been Cher, actually.
Yeah,
according
She
to
did
Mental
not
Floss.
audition. Did you know Zoe Deschanel auditioned to be Cher?
That would
Oh
have
my
been.
God.
She auditioned to be Cher, Dion, or Ty. That would have been
very different.
Yeah, no, that would have been our introduction to Zoe Deschanel.
And another one, Jeremy Renner.
Who's a talented
Hawkeye from Marvel.
Jeremy Renner, really?
Could have been the object of Cher's affection, according to Mental Floss, because Renner auditioned for the roles of both Christian and Josh, but lost out to Justin Walker and Paul Rudd.
Huh.
And Paul Rudd became Ant-Man, who's a bigger deal in the Marvel universe than Hawkeye. So,
Yeah.
well, I mean...
But he hadn't been in as many movies.
Paul Rudd's been in tons of movies.
No, Marvel movies.
Oh, okay.
Marvel movies.
That's true.
Hey,
but,
Jeremy Renner was in one of the best movies to come out in like the past 5 years.
do tell.
And
now he doesn't even know.
No.
Doesn't even know.
No, I got.
While
Here's
he's
where-
thinking about that, if listeners, you ever want to see Paul Rudd be a bad guy in a movie, it actually exists.
Does it?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Jason and I were talking about this. I think I recommended it to you the other day. It's called Mute with Alexander Skarsgård. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
Paul Rudd is the bad guy, and he has like a biker handlebar mustache. It's hardcore. So yeah, if you haven't, check it out. It's a great movie.
No,
Alexander, I love you.
If you want to see Jeremy Renner in a movie that establishes that he is not only that he is a good actor, but that the
He's
other
a great actor.
well. He has
A movie that actually showcases
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
I
I
understand what
agree
you're
with
saying.
I agree with you, but yeah, he hasn't been in too many movies that really
Sure.
show it. Wind River. It's
Okay.
on Netflix. It was, I mean, it's one of those movies that came out and nobody noticed when it came out,
Sure.
but it is a fantastic movie, and it has the other Olsen in it. Elizabeth Olsen.
The Red Witch?
Olsen.
And
yes, the
Eliz-
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
And
sorry.
Elizabeth Olsen in that movie is fantastic.
You know, the Olsen that didn't have cigarettes as a handout at her wedding. Because I can't remember if it was Mary Kate or
Really?
Ashley.
Mary Kate. I think,
Yeah, Mary
I don't
Kate.
know if Ashley's married. I know Mary Kate's married to that really old guy.
Okay, yeah, they had cigarettes, kind of like mints in bowls, or like
Cool
what-
wedding.
I
I don't even smoke.
or
And that,
Jordan
you know.
almonds or whatever, but in a bowl. But no, they had cigarettes as
The
a
Jordan
gift.
almonds were holding the cigarettes like they were like the little like the decoration
can
to
see
hold the
that.
Katie
cigarettes.
was actually there. She took photos. She'll put them on our Instagram.
Oh, so here we go. Paul Rudd in his almost. This isn't the Forrest Gump outfit, but it looks very similar. That was
We're not quite to
KU.
the Forrest Gump moment, no, but we are kind of in the Act 2-ish area where Cher is starting to question who she is as a person.
Well, she's been
because
dethroned as queen because Ty had a near-death
brush with death
experience
at the mall.
So now she's Miss Popular.
Yeah, so Cher fails her drug test and
Her
driving
driver's
test.
Oh wait, that test? What test? Hold on. What test?
We've only seen Cher smoke weed once in this movie.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Cher.
How do you
I mean,
think she keeps
did
her
just rip-
figure?
she did just rip a blindside mirror off the side of a car.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, that scene makes me laugh where she's like, oh, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That was in the beginning where she literally ran over a fire hydrant and was like, oh, that came out of nowhere.
Well,
but
and then she went through the stop sign.
she goes through it. Yeah, she can't drive. She fails her driving
I don't know why a
test.
driving instructor would need a pocket protector.
He's got a tire and air pressure gauge in his pocket too.
If that pin explodes, you don't even know.
That's true.
It could
I
wreak
think it's
havoc.
supposed to be he's like super nerdy.
I think he's wearing the same shirt that you're wearing right now, Jason.
He probably is.
Just, yeah.
He didn't pay as much for it though. Ooh.
Ew. Anyway, yeah, so Cher's starting to feel bad because she fails her driver's test. Josh thinks she's kind of a tool, and because she's a little bit racist with her maid at home, where she's like, Lucy, where's my shirt? And Lucy goes, I don't know where it is. And then Cher's like, oh my God, tell the gardener this. And Lucy, you know I don't speak Mexican. And Lucy's like, I'm not a Mexican, and stomps off all mad. And so Cher's like, what the hell just happened? And Josh goes, Lucy's from El Salvador. And she's like, oh, okay, whatever. What does that matter? And he goes, it's an entirely different country. You get mad when somebody thinks you live below Sunset Boulevard. So, and she's like, fine, so everything's my fault, whatever. And then she goes off and fails her driver's test. Not her drug test, listeners.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And
But
Ty now is wearing an outfit that looks exactly like Cher's outfit in scene 1.
Cher has literally created a monster, and we get around to that because Cher's in a bad mood for having failed her test, and now it looks like Ty likes Josh.
Bum bum bum.
So
See, and
sinister.
Plot twist.
That's kind of a deep thought, though. You know, the idea that if you create an echo of yourself, you'll hate it,
Like Abraham Linklater.
want to change yourself. You know, it's actually an interesting motivation for wanting to
Once you
grow
see it
as a character
outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You've created a mimic that
Yeah.
you wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I've met myself and I was disappointed, so I changed.
Like, what is it on Rick and Morty? Abraham Linkler?
Abrahoff.
Abraham
Abraham
Linkler.
Linkler.
Here, I
Yeah.
love this right now. This is
Prepare to be
Ty is now
emancipated.
burning her Elton box.
Elton box,
So
yes.
there was just like the idea of them being together and that she like had 2 instances with him. And yet
never even
she
went
has
on a date, yeah.
Yeah, she has a box. So she's thrown away the dish towel that like has held the ice that he put on her head when the shoe flew off and hit her.
Oh, because we didn't talk about that. So, yeah, when they're at the Valley party, Ty gets knocked out because somebody's shoe hits her in the head, and Elton grabs a towel and puts some ice on her. But yeah, she burns that towel, and she's like, and I hate this line because she's telling Cher, like, you know that towel that Elton got, like, with the ice to cure me? And it's like, he didn't cure you of anything. He put ice on your face. It's okay.
Yeah. And then it was the towel and the tape, and that was all that was in that box. And Cher's like, we are not going to burn that because that's going to like, emit chemical fumes. She's like, it has that song
Don't burn
Rolling
plastic
with the
in a gas
Homies.
fireplace.
Yeah, stink up your own house, lady.
Well, she clearly is living in New Jersey because of that terrible accent that they've got her.
So she was a transfer student.
from New Jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right. But this is where everything kind of turns around because we find out that Ty likes Josh, and Cher's like, "Oh, I just don't think you mesh well together," and
We
so
don't mesh well together.
yeah, Ty gets really vicious because she's like, "Well, why am I listening to you to begin with? You're
a virgin who can't drive." And you think that she just like stabbed her in the eye the way that it's like,
because Cher
oh my
literally starts to
God.
cry.
Like James May.
Like that was way harsh, Ty. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh
James
my
May.
God. I can't believe you said that.
What'd you say, old man?
No,
what was that
no.
in the corner?
No,
Something
no.
about James who?
No, I was talking about a show that's still on the air. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just assume that everything you're referencing is from before I was born.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they have a harsh little moment, and of course, it's that kind of they have their fight, then everybody goes off and sort of self-actualizes and evens out, and naturally with Cher, what's going to happen is she goes shopping to make herself feel better.
I remember showing this movie to my dad because I was like, Dad, this is the greatest movie ever. Again,
He
7
was like,
years
my
old.
child is an
And-
idiot.
Yeah. What have we
Mike
done?
Mike
this movie.
knew what was going on, but
How
he watched
have
it.
we
But when
failed
she's like,
you?
I needed to go somewhere to clear my head, and my dad goes, the mall. My dad has predicted movies my entire life, and I get it from him. My friend literally goes, she goes, you do not talk during this movie. You shut the fuck up. I was like, because it was Wonder Woman. I was like, oh, it's that guy. She goes, shut the fuck up.
No, my dad and I do that to my mom because she's a big fan of Hallmark movies. So we were watching one in particular where this woman was an actual elf from the North Pole or something, and I don't know, but some reporter or something made the protagonist male say, I don't like Noelle. I don't like her romantically at all. And I look at my dad and I was like, oh no, she's going to hear that. And then they're not going to get together, but then they're going to get together. And my mom was getting so mad at us, like, how do you know this? Like, stop it. And she was getting so angry with us for ruining the movie. And we were like, it's Hallmark. Mom.
Hallmark movies are a formula. It's the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Exactly.
Hallmark movies.
Those movies are horrendous. Hallmark, get out of here.
Wait,
I don't know
here we
why
are.
you were invited in the first place.
We're working on our epiphany.
Yeah, we're on our
We're
shopping
building our
montage.
epiphany.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Cher has a walking / musically.
Why would she like Josh? I don't understand. He does this stupid thing.
He's all
he does this
smelly
stupid
and
thing.
dirty, and he's just like he's like a dog, but. And then she gets this magical moment in front of the fountain. It's like a Bellagio kind
That's
of fountain.
exactly what I was thinking.
It's like, oh my god, I like Josh. It just, I loved this movie so much growing up, and I don't hate it now, but it's just, it's
Yeah.
so, oh god, and him grabbing her in the kitchen, I had forgotten about that. If we're talking about Elton being sexually assault driven, Josh like kind of grabs her in the middle when he first sees her in the movie. He's like,
He's
"Oh,
like,
you're filling
putting
out there."
Yeah. That's such a brother thing to do.
Yeah, that.
I don't
yeah.
know about that.
I
My
would-
brother never did that.
My brother wouldn't grab me there. He might poke me, be like, "Oh, you're getting kind of chubby," and then that would be, the means for death.
Oh, okay. So there's that.
Yeah.
But once again, this is a great joke that Alicia Silverstone has. She's sitting on the couch watching the news with Josh, and there's all this bombing and stuff going on the TV, and Josh's like, since when do you care about the news? And she's like,
I care.
I care, but I'm confused. And he goes, why? She's like, I thought they made peace in the Middle East, and they're talking about Bosnia. So it's just, she's such an idiot. But yeah.
Well, that comment is even dumb now because look where we're at.
Yeah, I guess so. But
You guess so.
oh, see, here we go. This is a thing. Scrunchies were once popular.
Oh, they're back in now.
No, are they?
They're back.
I was
Yeah.
unaware because Carrie Bradshaw very clearly told us on Sex and the City
Jesus.
that scrunchies are not permissible, and that was early 2000s.
That is not the person to take it.
That
fashion
was
advice
that.
from.
Oh snap, Carrie! I mean Sarah. Sorry,
SJP. Oh no, I love SJP.
oh,
But
you do. Okay.
but we all know Carrie just a little iffy.
Yeah, she
Carrie,
does.
Sex and the City, not Carrie, my roommate. FYI.
Yeah, real Carrie, that I don't know in real life, but shout out to real Carrie. We know you don't dress funky, but Carrie Bradshaw sure as hell does.
Carrie Bradshaw.
But yeah, Alicia Silverstone does prove that scrunchies were important. But she's actually having a moment with her dad right now where she's like, oh my gosh, I like this guy and he doesn't like me. And you can see where she gets kind of her silly idea that she can argue her way out of anything because her dad's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm just in a situation that I can't argue my way out of. And he goes, well, tell me the situation and we'll figure out a way to argue our way out of it. And she was like, well, there's this boy who doesn't like me. And he's like, well, that boy is a complete moron. But they go back and forth. And she's like, he's just a do-gooder type. And now I feel like nothing I do is good enough. And he goes, wait a minute. And they actually have a nice moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dan Hedaya is like, wait, who takes care of everybody in this household? Who makes sure that daddy eats right? Like, that's you. So he makes her feel better. And then you have this moment where she's like, all my friends are really valuable in different ways. Like, Christian wants everything to be beautiful and lovely. And Dion and Murray are super considerate of each other when nobody's looking. And just, she starts seeing the good in everything. And Miss Geist trying to get us involved no matter how hard we resist. And so she starts turning her act around because of Josh. Because he actually believes in helping out mankind and whatnot, so she becomes captain.
So Josh is the antagonist of the movie.
Exactly,
Yeah.
he ruins a perfectly good Valley girl. Thanks, Paul Rudd.
No, and people think antagonist is the bad guy.
No, he's just the person that opposes your original point of view.
No, the antagonist is the person that causes the protagonist to change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, in Back to the Future, Marty McFly is not the protagonist.
No.
He's the antagonist.
He ruins everything.
No, George is the protagonist. Because George is changed by Marty.
Okay, but...
Yeah, no, that is, if you actually use the words correctly, Marty's the antagonist because he causes the change.
I can't technically argue with that, despite the fact...
Well, no, because it's correct.
No, it is... What I'm trying to say is that mostly protagonists don't pretend to rape anyone. So I don't know about that. But that being said, Katie,
back to the movie.
Yeah, back to the movie. Well, we get
so now Cher's cleaning out all of her cabinets and taking out all of her stuff to donate to the
Pismo Disaster Relief.
Yes,
yes. Where
these people lost everything, Daddy.
Yeah,
they don't need your skis.
Dad, they lost everything. Don't you think that includes athletic equipment? Like, it just... Oh, there's the hooker from Night at the Roxbury. Shut up. But yeah, so Cher, and we kind of come full circle because Ty likes Josh, and it's a bit of a clunky solution to a problem where Ty likes Josh, and that's clearly...
And Josh likes Ty.
I don't know that he likes...
Oh, no, sorry.
No, Josh likes Cher.
I'm thinking,
Travis.
Sorry.
Because Travis runs into Cher at the Pismo Disaster Relief Fund where they're donating a bunch of their stuff. And somehow he and Cher just kind of bond.
I'm so sorry. She grabs a bong. Never knew what this was when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. No. And she's like, I guess, what is it?
Kitchenware? They talk about it kind of extensively because Travis brings his stuff and he's like, here's this. And she goes, proper. And she starts picking the stuff out and it's clearly a bunch of bongs and he's like, I mean, I'm not really into it anymore, but far be it for me to deprive people who want that herb or whatever. Yeah. And I'm in this like group, this thing with like these steps. There's like so many. And she's like, 12? And he goes, oh my God, man, how'd you know? And she's like, oh, wild guess.
Yeah.
But so he donates all of his bongs and she's like, yeah, I guess kitchenware is where that goes. But he invites her to watch him skate.
Which is a high school thing. And here we are. I forgot about this part.
But that's where Ty and Travis make up. Or not even... Well,
they make eyes.
No, they don't. Because Ty likes Travis when she first comes to the school.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of a burnout too. Yeah. And Cher and Dion are like, ew, no. The Bernies, they're not worth anything. Like, ew, you can't be with him. And then... Ty's actually liked Travis the whole time. It's just that she's done being the head bitch of the high school now after being sort of almost killed at the mall.
You get dethroned.
Yeah, I don't know. But the point is that like she goes back to her natural inclinations and Cher just sort of lets people be as they are. And Cher even says, like, oh, yeah, as soon as I saw Ty making eyes with Travis at the skater convention, it was over with Josh. And the movie kind of wraps up pretty quickly after this, to be honest, because, Ty is now no longer interested in Josh, so there's no obstacle for Cher to overcome. So there's that. But yeah, this is so Tony Hawk. Back in the 90s, plaid.
Oh, yeah.
The skater shoes.
Yep. I mean, he's not... Okay. I'm desensitized. He's not doing anything like major, amazing like tricks here. He's just skating on the ramp.
Well, he's not Tony Hawk.
But they're like giving him like 8s and like 7s and 9s and
well, you didn't see the other guys. Maybe they were terrible.
You never know. And when was the last time you scored a perfect 10 in a skating competition, Katie?
Oh, absolutely never. But I play flag football at Old 4th Ward Skate Park. And some of these kids who are like 7 years old, I'm like, I would never ever be able to do that.
Well, skating was really hot when we were in middle school. Like rollerblading was
that was our elementary school, yeah.
Oh, was elementary school?
Yeah, well, we used to have like the skating get-togethers at the Roswell skating rink, which is now torn down and is a business complex.
Oh God, Thursday nights at Spark or whatever it was called. Oh no, I'm thinking about my old elementary school before I moved and met the fabulous Katie and Chris Blaylock, all those kids that changed my life. But,
you're welcome.
Yes. We wouldn't be doing this podcast today probably if I didn't have such fabulous friends. But it turns out Brittany Murphy was the virgin who couldn't drive. Because according to Mental Floss, looking back on Clueless and its legacy, the late Murphy recalled, it's hard for me to believe it's been, well, obviously this article is a little bit older. It's hard for me to believe it's been 10 years since that movie. I really was the virgin who couldn't drive. I was living in an apartment in the valley with my mom. And I remember starting to see these huge billboards of us all over town. It was amazing. Aww. And she was apparently the
R.I.P.
The sweet Brittany Murphy back in the day.
But
before her Eminem days. But
here's our turnaround point where the guy yells at Cher for doing something wrong with the big case that's been at her dad's house.
She highlights the wrong information on the forms, and Josh bristles at the other lawyer.
He rescues her.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't know. He's like, well, she's an idiot. You're an idiot.
And he's just, but they did just have their moment where he's like, you look like Pippi Longstocking because she's got her braids. And she's like, so you look like Forrest Gump. And God help me, he does. Like they dressed him just like Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. Mama always said there weren't enough shares. But no one, really?
Nah.
Yeah,
Jason's dressed like Forrest Gump, so he's taking all of this personally. But yeah, then you have the great moment where, I mean, listeners, I ask you, I'm reaching out right now from me to you. Who doesn't want a stepbrother to fall in love with?
Okay, Delilah.
Well, you ruined that moment.
Delilah.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. But a lot of our listeners are in Australia, so they don't know who the hell Delilah is.
The only time, so I remember listening to Delilah back in the day, but then like she's not here, like in Georgia or whatever. Like we don't ever listen to it. But my friend has a beach house, and every time we go down to the beach house, we always listen to it. And I never understood it until I was older. I was like,
Delilah was like the radio version of Dear Abby.
Yep.
For any of you who didn't grow up in Metro Atlanta. So there's that.
If it helps, folks, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Well, you're from Louisiana with all those gators you were talking about earlier. But yeah.
Was it Who Dat? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Their football team. Good. Topical. Well done.
Sports ball. Go sports ball.
Good to play the ball. Do the sports.
Get the points.
God. Yeah, but anyway, so we're literally at the end point of the movie where Paul Rudd is basically, they're just sort of stumbling over each other. Paul Rudd and Alicia Silverstone are like, oh my God, nobody cares about me. And Cher's like, oh, that's not true.
We care about
you. Are you saying you care about me? And they kiss and they sort of imply that they sleep together because she's like, you can guess what happened next.
Yeah, I like how she takes a dig at Kentucky later on.
Oh yeah,
and it's like,
and he has a KU.
Yeah,
she said
but it's like, okay, it's so terrible. How horrible would it be to get married when I'm 16?
It's like you just
banged the guy.
Yeah, if her dad walked around and saw this right now, Dad would not be happy.
No, Dan Hedaya is surprisingly cool with it because there's a subtle moment when Cher is doing that whole Pismo Beach thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, they don't need your skis. And she's like, they need everything, including athletic equipment. Dan Hedaya looks at Josh and he's like, this is your influence, Josh? And you sort of see that like fatherly approval moment where they kind of smirk. And he was like, well, yeah, okay, that's a good guy for my daughter to end up with. You know, my ex-stepson, like every good dad.
Maybe
dreams
that was
of.
his plan all along. Maybe that was the reason he stayed in touch with, because they say that at the beginning of the movie. It's like, well, it is weird that you're
You
still
divorce wives, not children.
Right, that whole thing. And it's maybe that was what he was thinking.
From a dad, because nobody's a parent in this room except for you, Jason.
Well, I
so
mean,
why don't you tell us about that?
It's a movie. I mean,
now it's the movie's fault, not something you would do, creeper. But and this is another question.
And nobody else has questioned about this relationship. Like her friends are all there. They're like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. They're
like, I'm here for it. But they have inexplicably they throw a wedding for Mrs. Geist Ms. Geist
at her parents at her dad's house.
Yeah, at her dad's house for her teachers. They throw a wedding, and then even more inexplicably, the guys are betting on which one of their girls are going to catch the bouquet. Jason, tell me if I'm wrong. No dude has ever wanted that to happen / bet $200 because Paul Rudd is like, yeah. The bet's up to $200 on whose girl's going to get the bouquet.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I mean, because if the guy, he's actually in love with her.
Oh, is that what it is?
No, I mean, he's in love with her. I mean,
they're teenagers. They don't, she's a teenager. She doesn't expect, he could be 19, but you don't know, like, I don't know. There's just, you're not assuming you're getting married if you catch the bouquet.
We're so old though, because we're like, you're going to be a completely different person by the time you're 25. Like we're just a
completely different person by the time you're 30. Like you go through like 5 different people by that time.
This is true. Oh. So, that all being said, we've basically finished the movie.
Yes, mercifully.
Oh, as if.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's great. So once again, huge thank you to Katie for being literally our biggest fan and most avid listener. She dressed up people. Pictures to come.
True that. Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. I've always had so much fun. Anytime you guys need anybody, just call me.
Well, thank you. And as always, listeners, you can reach us to tell us how much you love us and or hate us at
either way.
Yeah, either way, we're cool. At Darth Jader at hindsighthorrifying.com. You can always find me on my Twitter at Darth_Jader_. We also have a mutual Twitter account at Hindsight Horror. So, Jason, do you want people to talk to you or not? Or are you literally just forwarding all your emails to me at this point?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I just send everything to her.
Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, if you really want to reach us, just reach out to me, listeners. I'm the one who does our social media and all that good stuff. But as always, we appreciate you listening and tuning in with us, and we are always welcome to suggestions. And we especially want one of you sexy Aussies to actually reach out to us so we can make you a guest on the show.
Yes.
First come, first served in every way possible. Jason, anything else you want to add?
No, nothing but as usual, thank you very much for spending your daytime, your nighttime, or your drive time, or whatever time it was with us for these past hour and a half or so. Thank you very much, and we will be back with you very soon. Good night.